Welcome back as we resume the breakfast show. As we stated before, we're going to be discussing the political scene in Egypt. Now, things are taking a turn where we've seen a calm Friday and following suit with Mohamed Morsy's trial almost correlating. We saw the Taba incident, and with us to discuss more regarding the political issue, Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, who's a former parliamentary member as well as a current member of the Social Democratic Party. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Freddy. Dr. Freddy, we have seen yesterday a very busy day. We have seen at the beginning the trial of the deposed President Mohamed Morsy, 35 others of the Brotherhood terrorist organization, and afterwards we have seen the sad incident, the explosion of a bus, tourist bus in Taba, where 4 people lost their lives, 3 of them Korean tourists and a bus driver. How do you read the political scene and the situation in light of what happened yesterday?
Of course, every human being will be very sorry for the terroristic attack that happened yesterday to the tourist bus. It seems that there is a new level of in the terrorist war we are fighting. Now they are shifting to fighting against people who have nothing to do with the political events. Previously, they were fighting against the security forces, against some Egyptian people from the opposition, those who are kind or away from the or kind of connected to the political events. But now killing tourists who are coming, they are from Korea, they have nothing to do with the Egyptian situation. It's a different level of terrorist war. They are fighting, of course, against the tourism industry. We're trying to, striving to get back tourism back to Egypt. Now they are fighting against this. I believe this will be a strong reaction from the security forces, having to enforce more the security for the tourists who are coming. We hope they will still be coming after these tragic events. It's really strange that how it's connected. Whenever you have Morsy is on trial, you find a bad, tragic event is happening, an attack against the security, attack against civilians, now against tourists. This has to be connected in a way or another. So yesterday we had the trial of Morsy going on, and the same day we find this tourist attack. Still, we don't know how this accident happened. There are different speculations about it. We need to find out. We need to have transparent investigations and see if there is any lack of security enforcement for this bus, because some of the scenarios would say that there was a boom inside the bus.
Others said that it might be a suicide bomber.
And others said that, so we have to have clear investigations, has to be transparently and publicly announced, trying to avoid this to happen again.
Does this mean we're seeing a similar strategy as that taken during the 90s? Because, as you've stated, these are innocent citizens, civilians. However, they're also tourists. So during the 90s, there was obvious attacks towards both security personnel and tourists. Those were the 2 targets during the 90s. So are we seeing this sort of step back towards that sort of strategy? Because following the ousting of Morsy, we've only seen attacks towards security forces.
Yeah, I believe we are going back, because they are the same groups. They are the same terrorist groups who were doing the attacks in the 90s. They are now getting back. Most of them were actually exiled, or they left the country. And in the past years, unfortunately, they were allowed to come back. They are now living in Egypt. So they are practicing their old historical tragic attacks. So it will take some time. I believe the security forces are fighting them. But what happened yesterday is a very strong proof that it's a clear war against terrorism. It's nothing but a war against terrorism. when they were fighting against police or against the military people, they said they were kind of revenge because the security people killed some of them or arrested some of them. But now what do the tourists have to do with this? So this is a clear war against Egypt. They are trying to attack any resources that will help the country, including, of course, tourism and the economic situation, which a very important part of any country's stability, the security and the economy.
So it's exhausting Egypt's economy.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't think somebody now has to argue about our situation, that we are clearly fighting a war against tourism. It's a clear war.
Dr. Freddy, we will have the short break and then we will continue the segment of the breakfast show.
في سنة 53 كنا نريد فعلا مخلصين ان احنا نتعاون مع الاخوان المسلمين على ان يسيروا في الطريق الصحيح والطريق السليم. وقابلت المرشد العام للاخوان المسلمين وقعد وطلب مطالب. طلب ايه؟ اول حاجة قال لي يجب ان تقيم الحجاب في مصر. إذا كنت أنت مش قادر تلبس بنت واحدة اللي هي بنتك طرحة، عايزنا ننزل ألبس 10 مليون طرح في البلد؟
أخطر ما فيها المفاهيم اللي بيحطوها في عقل أولادنا، وعشان الأحزاب اللي بتساعد دول يشوفوا أو اللي بيحاولوا يتقربوا لهم يشوفوا أي جريمة بترتكب في حق أجيالنا ومصر. الدعوة وجمعية الإخوان المسلمين غير شرعية زي ما قلت للتلميذات. خلي الدعوة ماشية، بس لا سياسة في الدين ولا دين في السياسة.
لا شك أنهم رأوا الإسلام مذاهب وفرق وطوائف، وكل مذهب يرى نفسه هو الأحق بأن ينسب إليه الإسلام أو ينسب إلى الإسلام، ويكفر الطوائف الأخرى. فعلى هذا يصبح الإسلام لا مبدأ تجميع للناس، ولكنه يصبح تفريق.
ضاع إسلامنا، سمعته ومكانته ضاعت تحت أقدام النخاس الفكرية والتعصب المذهبي، فإلى الله نشكو.
And welcome back. Now we are joined by Dr. Esam Elnezamy, the political analyst. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us. Dr. Esam, before we were joined by your presence, we were talking about yesterday's terrorist attack against the bus in Taba. How do you read the scene, and how do you see the link between the terrorist attack against this tourist bus and the trial of the post-President Mohamed Morsy and 35 others of the Brotherhood terrorist organization in the case of espionage?
First of all, I'm very happy about the situation of Coptic Church that condemned this accident, and which reflect how great they are and how they are respecting our country and feeling that we are in the same boat and in the same critical situation against the international scenario regarding the chaos, the creative chaos that they are expecting to happen in Egypt. This accident was expected from my point of view because my children and my families and my relatives traveled to Sharm el-Sheikh and to Taba last weeks, and they were very happy that the situation there is safe, and it was unexpected, overcrowded. After that, I was expecting that in every rise in the touristic movement in Egypt, I am expecting terroristic attack because there is many people against the rising economy in our country. There is many people against the security or the growth or the roadmap of our country. So I was expecting this terroristic attack one day, and my heart was beating when it will occur because they want to distract our country. So we will face some problem until the situation is settled down, and I am considering that there is many foreign intelligence putting their fingers or their hands in this situation because this situation is very sensitive. If you consider it, they are Christian tourists. They were traveling to cross to Israel. So it was planned in a critical time.
Just before the bus crossed
it is a message.
Eilat.
It is a message. Why this man, if he want to make an explosion, why he didn't wait to make it in the other side?
No, it was obvious that it was planned to be on the Egyptian soil.
It is a message. They want to tell the people that our country is not safe. So we will go to the point that the tourism is going down, and the tourists will never come to Egypt. This is the message.
What we were just stating before you came was exactly that it's an attempt to exhaust the economy in Egypt.
Yeah.
But then, interestingly, you also added something with regards to the timing and the geography of this bombing. So how does this affect, for example, relations between Egypt and Israel at this point?
I don't think it has to be affect the relation between Egypt and Israel. It's mainly against Egypt. It's a war against Egypt, against the security of Egypt, against the economy of Egypt, against the tourism of Egypt. We didn't do anything Egypt against Israel.
Not that, but it might actually work in Israel's benefit because now Egypt will prompt more security.
Any accident that reduces the tourism in Egypt will benefit the neighbor countries, and Israel is the first one who will get benefit from this. So they are actually indirectly benefiting Israel because if tourists are not coming to Egypt, they will go to the neighbor countries, including Israel would be the first place they would like to go to.
Dr. Esam, what about yesterday's trial? We have seen the deposed President Mohamed Morsy and 35 others from the Brotherhood terrorist organization in the trial. They were trying to sabotage the trial. They were trying to do anything in order to stop this trial. We have seen also the defense team withdrawing from defending in the case. Why in this particular case they were trying to do so?
This was expected. They did it several times. They are not respecting the judges. They want to make pressure that they will resign from following the situation. I think it gives me a comparison between the situation with Morsy and the situation with Mubarak. Really, I have to mention this. Mubarak was something very great, I mean it, when he dealt with the judges as with the court. He respected them, he respected the law, he followed the rules, and he was very calm and very respectable in front of the judge. And if we compare it to what is Morsy doing with his Muslim Brotherhood, they give a bad message that they don't respect the laws, they don't respect the court, they don't respect the judges, which is something we have to compare between the political sense all the feelings of those people that they are badly educated. They are not following even the Muslim rules or the Islamic rules to be respectable in front of the judges. And I'm expecting more of that. They will make some chaos during the coming days. They will never stop. They will never stop. Indeed, because they are playing a game that the international opinion or community will support them and will be against our country. And I think everything will fail, especially we have to mention that we started to make a good relation with the Russian. And I hope one day we will cross to go to the Chinese, because the international balance have to start. We don't like the monopolar action of the United States of America, that they are directing the world, or they are managing everything or manipulating everything. So this is a good message that we started to go to the other arm to say that you are not alone.
And Dr. Freddy, how do you read the situation?
I would like actually to comment on this situation of the defense team who withdrew yesterday. Actually, we are in front of two scenarios, one of the two. The first scenario, the big issue was about the glass cage that Morsy was in.
I was actually there at the courtroom yesterday, and they could hear.
Yeah. So the first scenario that they are trying just to sabotage the trial, and they are trying to create a problem, and there is no real problem. They said that they could, those inside the cage couldn't hear the trial, and there was no clear communication. But after the lawyer was
talking, we are seeing them applauding, so they were hearing what he was saying.
This is what they said. So the first possibility that they're trying to create a problem and to sabotage and show it to the world that it's unfair trial. The second scenario, there might be a technical problem in the glass cage. I'm not defending them, but I would say it's a technical issue. So my suggestion is that the court should have somebody who is technically expert to examine this cage, and because according
they actually sent in a lawyer alongside a police officer to check for himself. And interestingly enough, once he was inside the cage, he stated that he could hear, and then he altered his statement once outside the cage during the demand.
Yeah, because according to the law, they have the right to have a clear trial, transparent, and those inside the cage should listen to the judge and reply to him. So if it is technically proof that this cage is
but
technically
Dr. Freddy,
free.
Isn't it obvious that it's not really about the cage, but rather that this is, they see this, and many of them actually stated that yesterday. They stated that no matter what they do, that this is a staged performance. And this is what they believe because of the political scenario. So was this inevitable, this walkout, this grand...
I said the first scenario, they are trying to create a problem and to show it, but to cut this and don't give him this chance. So if just the court has to appoint somebody to technically check it and to state that this is free of any technical problems and it's clear communication, then they have no excuse and they have to continue on. And if they withdrew, then the court would assign other. And they can assign other lawyers to keep going on.
They did say that they would assign 10 other lawyers to be present in case they actually withdrew from the case, and adjourned to the 23rd of February. So do you have any expectations that more scenes and more incidents could take place until the upcoming day of trial?
This is expected that according to what happened before, whenever you have Morsy on trial, you have another tragedy going on.
Yes.
So they want to keep creating this case of
Chaos and
terroring the
instability.
people, terrifying them and creating the chaos. They will keep trying this, and they will keep finding excuses and tricks to show the whole world that this trial is not a fair trial, and they have to avoid this trial in a way or another, because they know that at the end they will be judged by this trial.
Indeed.
And Dr. Esam, now, interestingly enough, Khairat al-Shatir was there yesterday, and he was the only one who wasn't doing the Rab'a symbol, and he wasn't the one that was, he was just very silent, sitting in the corner, and quite calm, as opposed to the others who were in the hustle and bustle of it all. And this actually represents something within the Brotherhood themselves, that those people who are present on the scene that we see on cameras are not really those who are behind the ideology or who are the thinkers. Are we to be worried that the real people who actually dictate the Brotherhood as an international organization are not the ones being put on trial?
Sure, they are not the ones who are putting on a trial, but I want to mention something before I continue. Why this glass cage? Because I think this is for the security of Morsy, because everyone knows that some people want to kill him, so that they want to make the situation more tragic, or we go forward for a chaos. So this is the first time that we see a trial with a glass cage for the security of this man. This is the first we have to mention and to announce that this is not against humanity or not against him, but this is for the safety of him, for the safety of the court itself, and something legal. And also, during the coming days, I want to salute and send my greeting for the police officers and for the army officers, because we are actually in a war against terrorism. And the coming days carries a great effort, especially before the presidential election and voting. I think we will face some problems, especially what happened in Taba yesterday. It sent a message that the coming days, maybe there is another scenario, and the chaos maybe will, or the bombing action will start to spread over the country. And I think the security officers are ready for this situation. I want to mention regarding Rab'a symbol. This is something very critical, that Rab'a symbols mean something very sensitive and something against the security of our country. It is written in a situation that you can read it Rab'a, but it is written R4, number 4, B, I, A. It means ready for Brotherhood Independent Army. This is something symbolic and something critical and something against the security of our country. Ready for Brotherhood Independent Army. It is the same situation which happened in Syria, that they want to form independent army against our army forces. And this symbol is not very simple. It is Rab'a symbol. No, it is not Rab'a symbol. It is a critical, illegal symbol. So there must be a law against this symbol, because it carries something very illegal and against the security of our country. Ready for Brotherhood Independent Army. This is a very bad message and very bad symbol.
Dr. Freddy, moving on to the presidential elections. Now we are waiting for a presidential elections law to regulate everything before the elections. And we are ready for the presidency, the people who are running for the presidencies. So how do you see the scene regarding the presidential election?
Yeah, we are approaching the announcement of the, officially announcing the presidential elections candidates. I believe the law is delayed because there are many suggestions for amendments for the law. I wrote some amendments myself for the law. There are many articles that needed to be amended. So
what in particular are the most important articles in this law that could lead to a good elections in the presidency?
It's generally it has very good and positive articles, including the article of the decisions of the elections committee that it can be challenged, and it's not final decisions as we used with the previous law. The conditions for the candidate, including his nationality and his wife's nationality and his parents' nationality, to be sure he would be kind of more Egyptian and loyal to the country. Some amendments are really need to be checked, especially those with the elections campaign, the rules of the elections campaign, the duration of it, the budget for it, which were too little for a presidential campaign. So I believe they are now studying these amendments. Now we have Hamdin Sabahi, who announced that he will be running for the elections. Others are waiting for Field Marshal Sisi, his announcement. He's expected to announce his being a candidate. He didn't announce it yet.
And many newspapers today are saying that General Sami Anan is expected also to run for the presidential elections.
Well, it's right for everyone to run, and I believe it's a very positive thing to have several candidates. We don't want to have one candidate and it turns to be a referendum.
Interestingly enough, definitively I agree with you. But interestingly enough, it didn't work out so well the first time round when we had the fragmentation of votes. So for this time round, for example, as a social democrat, you would want to have a coalition with familiar ideologies. And that would aid you in having this sort of one entity, one cohesive entity. So this fragmentation of votes, are we to be worried about something like that happening again?
To my point of view, we are in one of two scenarios. The first scenario, if Field Marshal Sisi will be running for the elections, and this is very expected. If he is, I believe he will be a very strong candidate, and he will probably win the elections from the first round. Because of his high popularity, many political parties and different groups will be supporting him, so he will have the strongest chance to win. The second scenario, if he doesn't run for elections, then will be expected with different candidates, who some of them are strong candidates, and we will not get elected president from the first round. There will be in that case another second round, and in this case all the speculations will be changed, and then will be recalculations again for the results. So I believe that the Field Marshal Sisi has to announce it publicly if he is running for the elections, so that people would not wait for different speculations, because everything will be changed whether if he is running or not for the elections.
Dr. Esam, what's your expectation for the presidential elections campaign? We have read that it would only take 3 weeks for any presidential campaign to take place. Do you believe that this is enough timing for any candidate to offer his presidential elections program in only 3 weeks?
Really, Ian, it's enough time, because every one of them is well known to the people. Nothing will change.
Not only about the personality, sir, but what about the program that he is carrying for the country?
You know that you can write many programs. It will be nothing, something written on a paper. But actually you want the people who can work on the ground and have a good experience in their career, in their history, and having a good dream for the country, for the future. But if you want me to write a program for myself, I will write something very attractive.
But actually, a program is very much important because one of the reasons Morsi had to be put on trial eons ago, maybe from was following the 100 days, because a program is actually a contract you place with the people.
Yes, but actually, if you go to Morsi, he wrote a good program, but nothing happened.
But he failed it, and that's why it's more legitimate to have him on trial now.
But if the time is critical for our country, we want to go very fast for the roadmap. We are I will mention it again, we are in an actual war. We are in a war, in another scenario of a war. This is not a war against army forces. This is a war that they succeeded to invade the country with some terroristic groups and some activists and something like that. We are in actual war. We have to look for the other countries, what happened in Libya, in Sudan, in Syria, in Iraq. We are in a very sensitive situation. We want to go very fast for the presidential election. So the time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, I don't care about this situation. I'm looking for the man who can carry these duties, who is having in his mind that we are in a war. He putting a target for the country that the security is his main issue and the safety of the people, so that we can regain our economic situation, we can rebuild the factories, we can regain the tourism and every dreaming or every dream for the people. So I want to pass or to go very fast. I think 3 weeks is enough. But the problem, as Dr. Farid said, that who is the coming president? Sisi will go or not, because it will change the scenario completely. We are in a very sensitive situation. My opinion, that I want to be a man with a military background to finish this war. For this period, exactly, for this period, we need a man with a military background, very intelligent, aware of the intelligence, and to carry this job. And El Sisi, especially, I have to announce that he is not the man who's looking for the presidential position. He is enforced by the willing of the people, by his popularity, to go through this election. So this is why he's delaying, he's hesitating. I don't know, he's putting some plan.
Maybe he doesn't even want to run for president.
Sure, because it was not in his dream. But we have to respect his way of thinking, because I think, as even the United States intelligence experts said, we are in a brain war. We are in a brain war, and it needs a good plan and the brain working.
Same question for you, Dr. Freddy. How do you expect the presidential election race? And do you believe that for you as a parliamentarian, and you know, of course, all the hassle of the elections campaign, 3 weeks are enough for the race?
Well, speaking of a normal situation, I would say it's not enough. If we're in a state of stability and it's a normal, calm situation, I would need at least 2 months for that. But speaking of the current moment we are in, the situation of war we are in now, we need to rush in this. We need, it's the same that happened with the Constitution. The campaign for the Constitution and the time for the Constitution, some countries took years to announce the Constitution, but we couldn't wait. We have actually a very critical situation, and we need to rush in the roadmap steps to get our stability, to get our elected president and our elected parliament after that. So I would believe for this current situation, 3 weeks would be suitable for that. I don't see an excuse for Field Marshal Sisi to delay his announcement, especially after passing the Constitution. It's the right of the people to know if he wants that. even if he is enforced it or not, but he has to make a decision. He cannot. I can't say that he is hesitating because he's a man of military background, with strong personality. So he already made up his mind. So he has to announce that publicly and officially to the Egyptian people directly. And he has to also show his program. He has already very strong popularity, but it's not enough. But even that, Dr. Esam mentioned that some nice programs were written in a very nice way, and
nothing was
implemented with their contract.
Yeah, but again, he has to show to his
supporters,
his credibility also when he shows a good program and then he applies it. So people would say that it's not only nice words or propaganda about the program, but he would say a program and people will actually come back to him and see what he already implemented or applied from the program he announced it earlier in his campaign.
Well, Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, former parliamentary member and also Social Democrat member, hopefully we'll be talking about parties soon. And Dr. Esam Elnezamy, political analyst, thank you very much for being with us, and sorry about traffic today.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of this episode of The Breakfast Show. Thank you, Morsy.
Thank you, Rahma, and thank you, our viewers.
And with that, we wrap up this episode, and we'll be back to bring you more on Nile TV.
يمر نهر النيل عبر مصر من الجنوب إلى الشمال، حيث يتمتع بجاذبية خاصة، فحول ضفافه نشأت واحدة من أقدم وأعرق الحضارات التي تركت آثارها على تاريخ الإنسان. وعبر جنوب مصر يشكل النهر ظاهرة طبيعية فريدة رائعة الجمال. لقد شغل نهر النيل الناس عبر الأزمنة المختلفة لما شكله من بيئة خاصة انعكست على طبيعة الحياة على ضفافه، وكان دائما لجهد الفلاح وعبقرية المهندس المصري القديم والحديث أبلغ الأثر لإقامة الحضارات واستمرار الحياة. وقد انعكست التركيبة البيئية والجغرافية المتمثلة في المناخ على مظاهر الحياة عبر التاريخ. وقد برع المصريون عبر التاريخ في إقامة العمارة غير النمطية في تراث معماري متواصل يعكس حسا مرهفا وعبقرية هندسية. وقد كان المهندس حسن فتحي رائد فن العمارة البيئية في العصر الحديث. درس وتابع حصيلة تجارب الأجيال في حل مشاكلها المعمارية، وطور المعمار للوصول إلى ما هو نافع ومفيد في البيئة المحلية من خلال ربط المعمار الشعبي بالمعمار الهندسي لتحقيق الفائدة والجمال، حتى لا تزحف المباني الأسمنتية المشوهة من أطراف مدن مصر إلى قراها، ويندثر التراث المعماري لهذه المناطق. فالتغيير يجب ألا يقتلع هذه الجذور، فهي الأصل الممتد عبر التاريخ.